Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be the start of a new series where I go through each type of iPhone setting and I will tell you exactly the best settings to enable and disable. So for this video, we are going to start off with system services, which encompasses a lot of different things that your iPhone uses. And the items that I have disabled for system services is alerts and shortcuts automation, and that is because I do not use shortcuts, so I don't have the need for them. Apple Pay merchant identification, this one you can enable it, but I have it disabled because once I walk into a store, I would know immediately if they take Apple Pay based on the point of interaction system. And typically popular stores like Target, Best Buy, they take Apple Pay. Walmart doesn't take Apple Pay. When I go to Walmart, I do not have the need to worry about Apple Pay. Cell network search is a good feature to enable because if you're doing a road trip, and I am speaking to my United States audience here, if you take a road trip, you may go through some areas that have little to no cell service. I took a road trip several years ago where I went from California to New York, and once I got to the Wyoming area, I noticed that I had little to no cell service. Having this cell network search will be useful in the event that you do go on those road trips and you do encounter those spaces where it's pretty hard to get a signal. Of course, that is going to be dependent on your carrier. Compass calibration, I turned that off because I don't use compass. So device management, I also turned that off because device management is for business use. If you have a business and you have several different iPhones or iPads and you want to be able to manage them, then you can turn on device management and you'll be able to monitor your employees' usage, restrict what types of things they can do on their phone. But because it's a personal phone, I don't see the need to have device management on. Emergency calls and SOS, that is a good system to enable because you never know when you would need emergency services. Find My iPhone is a system that I enable. Pretty much the name says it all. I don't really need to go into it much further than that. HomeKit, I have it enabled, but depending on your HomeKit setup, and if you use HomeKit, then you may want to turn it on in case you want to have some sort of automation when you're close by. This feature, you can turn it off or on. It's not going to affect your daily use of your iPhone in 99% of the use cases. Motion calibration and distance, I believe this is for workouts, especially if you don't have an Apple Watch. But I turn this off because when I exercise, I'm not worried about my phone. I do a lot of my exercise at home, so I don't need to worry about my iPhone. Networking and wireless, I have that turned on, and this is just to help find wireless signals. You can't turn it off. This is one of those system services where you may not even use it as long as you have your iPhone, but it's good to have it on just in case. Setting time zone. So I turned this one off, and your usage may vary with this setting. Setting time zone, this will set the time zone to whatever your local time zone is. And this is good if you travel a lot, if you travel a lot for work, for pleasure, if you're a passport bro. If you have this turned on, then you don't need to worry about going to the settings and changing the time. This would be useful for those types of cases. But I don't travel a lot, so it's turned off for me. Share my location, I just turned that off because no one cares where I'm at, so I don't have the need to share my location. Suggestions and search. This is more for if you're using the Siri suggestions. and the spotlight search. Use those two items, but I never have the need to have the iPhone suggest things to me. I always know what I'm looking for. System customization, I turn it on. You know, I also turned it off at one point, and I didn't see the difference between it being on versus it being off. Significant locations. I went over this feature in a long list of videos. In case you don't know, and if you're new to iPhone, significant locations actually tracks where your iPhone is the most. So I turned this off because one, it's creepy, and two, there's a new feature that was released with iOS 17.3, and that is called stolen device protection. I have another video on that. But what stolen device protection does is if a thief grabs your iPhone, they would have to actually authenticate with Face ID or Touch ID in order to change your Apple ID password or grant access to whatever personal information that they are attempting to access. The key thing about stolen device protection is that it automatically turns off when your iPhone is in a location that is significant. So if you're at home, stolen device protection will not work. If you're at work, it's the same thing. By turning this off, you would be able to have this feature enabled no matter where you go. So if the worst happens, then you know your Apple ID and all of your information will be protected. iPhone analytics, this is just to help Apple make the iPhone better. So you can turn that on, you can turn that off. It's up to you. Route and traffic, this is for me when I go to work. So I have this on and I'm able to know exactly the route and the traffic levels. Improved maps, I like to use Apple Maps. I know that Google Maps has a lot more features, but Google Maps has so many ads now for no reason. So I just stick with Maps, and I have this setting on because I want Apple Maps to improve over time. And the status bar icon, I have it turned on. That way I would know immediately if an app or a system service is using my location. And that is it for system services. I am going to have the best phone settings to turn on, the best messages settings to turn on. So subscribe for those videos. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Take care.